Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Virtual Pub. My name's Matt Bailey. I'm your National Ambassador for the Scotch Malt Whisky Society. Thank you so much for tuning in. There's absolutely heaps of people watching right now, which is so exciting to see so many people who are keen to be a part of Virtual Pub, keen to be a part of the story that we're doing tonight, keen to be a part of the crowd, if you like. And we've got special guests on tonight. We've got live music. We've got virtual walkthroughs. We've got quick chats and tastings with people. We've got giveaways. We've also got, oh, look, there's a lot going on. I've already talked about it ad nauseum, but I'm so glad to see so many people joining in tonight and being part of Virtual Pub. What is Virtual Pub? Let's just start there for a second. Virtual Pub is our opportunity to bring the pub atmosphere to you whilst most of us are locked down. So if you're living especially in Sydney or Melbourne, it's going to the pub at the moment is something that's not really a thing. And that's kind of a shame, because that's just the way things are at the moment, and we accept that. But that's just how things are. So you know what? That's the way it goes. Oh, look at all these people joining in at the moment. Joining from what a wrong country. I want to hear more about that. Where is that? Where is that? That sounds exciting. G'day, says Janesh. Good to see so many people jumping in. Hey, from Fremantle. Look how many people are jumping in from all over the country and indeed the world. By the way, this is being broadcast across Australia and indeed across our UK membership as well. So any UK members at home on a Saturday morning, which is Saturday morning there at the moment, may want to join in. Now, here's what I recommend you do for Virtual Pub tonight. Jump on, throw your comments. You can see I've got them coming up on screen at the moment. I encourage you all to throw your comments, throw your questions, keep them coming through, whether you're watching YouTube, Facebook, however you're doing it. Morning from Geelong. I don't think it's very much, I don't think it's morning in Geelong at the moment, but you know what? I think it's pretty much 7 o'clock in Geelong as well. Gerald in WA. Oh, that's so good. So good. Scotch Down Under. Good to see you. Party Times is Mark Garraway. Evening SMWS says, what a community. Seriously. This is what I love about the SMWS. It is such a fantastic whiskey community. That's what the society is. And that's what going to the pub is about. It's about catching up with friends. There's nothing, you could have bought the pack tonight to go along with it. We're going to go through those drams. In fact, my first special guest is queued up, waiting in the green room right now to join me for the first dram. But before I bring him in, you know what? I just wanted to say it doesn't matter if you don't have the pack. All that matters is if you've got grab yourself a beer if you like, or a cider or something. Grab yourself a society dram. Put this up on your Chromecast or your Apple TV, or just watch it on your computer on the second monitor or on the main monitor. I'm going to pull out right now a Wildflower St. Walter Black Muscat Australian Wild Ale from Wildflower Brewing. Great mob, great beer as well. I don't know this particular beer, but we're going to give it a go. It's looks very almost positively pink in color. Anyway, I'm going to pour a bit of that because it's something a bit of a special beer for a special night. So cheers. I'd love to see also what you're dramming on tonight. If you've got the virtual pack, if you don't, please use hashtag virtualpub21 is our hashtag. I'll pop it up on the screen right now. There it is. Hashtag virtualpub21. Use that as a hashtag for tonight. Please tag the society, SMWS_AUS, on Twitter, on Instagram, on Facebook, wherever you are. Would love to see where and how you're enjoying Virtual Pub Night tonight with us tonight. Whew, that's a lot of words. Let me go over a few things that are happening tonight, just quickly. Like I said, we've got special guests, we've got live music, we've got a virtual walkthrough coming along. We've got a tasting pack, we've got giveaways. What else have we got? We've got a chat with 3 or 4 different people tonight as the night goes along. This is, by the way, live TV. So things might go wrong, but you know what? That's part of the fun, part of the charm. This is not a pre-produced program. I'm gonna throw many comments as I can. Wildflower, great brewery. Yes, indeed. Banging brew there, Matt. Thank you so much. Look, I wanted to open something special. You know what? Here's a great comment from Jesse Morgan, who says, tonight is a great night to crack open that SMWS bottle you've been reserving. If you've got a society bottle you've been sitting on for a while, it's sitting in the collection, you're like, I really want to open that. If you don't have the virtual pub pack, open that bottle. Whiskey was made to be open and enjoyed. That's what tonight is all about. Really great. That's a great comment. Seriously. Sipping a dirty Craigellachie 13. Dirty indeed. And some people starting off with a Morrison Irish Red Ale pre-tasting bevy. Good to see. Tasmanian craft beer. Wow. Look, this is so much. Look, there's a lot of comments coming in. Jacaranda Jam. Someone tasting Jacaranda Jam. Good to hear. I'd love to hear if that bottle's open. That is a lovely beer. That's a lovely beer. I do my sort of wild ales and things like this. This is having a beautiful wheat beer. Awesome to see. So many people coming in. Now, look, I'm not one of those people that likes to go on a monologue and talk too much because we've got our first special guest coming in. I'm going to bring him in just a second. So what I recommend doing is grabbing your virtual pub tasting kit if you've got one. We're not going to spend too much time on each of these drams because I know there's a lot of people who didn't grab the packs. We produced, I think, about 80 of them, so quite a few of you did, but we're going to crack open the first one with our special guest. We've had him on before. He's no stranger to us. He's been on Virtual Pub before. He's been on a number of streams with us before. Of course, we are talking about our very own state manager, Alex Moores. I'm going to welcome him into the stream now. Alex, welcome.
Hello, everyone.
Yeah, welcome. How are we going?
Very well. Should I move on my screen? It's better if I'm sitting like this.
There you go. Much better. Yeah.
Perfect. Couldn't have said that intro better, Matt. And I think, we're in lockdown and no one really likes to be in lockdown for any reason. But one of the silver lining advantages is just how accessible Virtual Pub is compared to, going to an event in person, and everything's got their place. And I've said it before, I hope these sort of virtual events continue long after we can get back to the good old in-persons, because it's just great to see everyone out and having a good time from all over Australia and the world.
Yeah, and there's a lot of people tuning in tonight, which is so good to see. And it's so good that we were able to do this Virtual Pub with the pack this time. I mean, you remember from the last Virtual Pub last year, we got to share some great whiskeys on stream with people. But I thought it'd be great if we could all come together, like we're at the pub. Someone goes up to the bar and says, can I get a round of that whiskey? In this case, can I get 70 glasses of 100.24?
So good. So good.
Yeah. So that's exactly what we've done here.
And that's great, because that's the other thing about the pub or like that, your favorite whiskey bar that otherwise doesn't come up is, you're there with some friends and someone has heard of a society dram or is a fan of a particular distillery number, and the rest are just a bit not sure what to get. And so someone will go up and, okay, I'll bring you something over. And they bring back, for example, 100.24. You might not have picked it, but then everyone shares it and it might expand horizons. Yeah, it's a great way to do it.
And this one is 100.24, a mellifluous fruit voyage. I haven't even had half a beer yet, and I can't even say that.
I'm glad you put this one up first. It's a good one before you've had too many.
Yeah. Now, there's a few other quicker little announcements whilst we're enjoying that first dram with everyone. I just want to raise a glass and say happy Virtual Pub. It's Saturday night. We're all at home, and we're all just able to do what we can, of course, being locked down. And I hope this is an opportunity for us to connect with you, for us to share a dram, share some stories. Alex, how's the last few weeks been for you? How's Lockdown 6 treating you?
Mate, it's, you'd think we'd be used to it by now, especially Victorians. But just this one seems to have been a bit worse, because I'm sure, speaking with the guys and everyone in hospo, it's just the uncertainty of these latest ones. It starts as 2 weeks, it gets extended. There's a gap there of a couple of days, and there's another one. I think everyone's just fairly over it. But it's back to that point originally, that I made. Everyone pulls together in lockdowns. Communities like ours come together, and I've seen a lot of packs, not official packs, people sharing around little dramming packs and samples from their bottles at home and cracking open bottles they might not have done otherwise, just because why not? I saw
a great post on our social group of someone who was sending out drams of 147.1 without even asking, they noticed someone had missed out on it and they didn't get the ballot or something. And so it's like just the fact that there's a community of people sharing drams even outside of the bars being open is just so exciting. It's always great to hang around like someone's living room and share a few drams, of course. But if in lieu of that, the fact that we have this community that we can come together with, yeah,
and it's just that thing. I think lockdowns and restrictions on venues, even sort of relatively accessible but capacity restrictions, put into stark contrast that that old statement of there's 3 factors in enjoying whiskey. It's palate, mood, and environment. And when you're sort of in a lockdown situation, you do, to a large extent, take away mood and environment, because you're not with your friends, you're not at the whiskey bar, you're not in a good place, and your mood is probably affected too. And so all of this sharing and bucking each other up and getting on virtuals sort of restores those other 2 factors. And whiskey never tastes as good if you're not in a good mood with your mates.
Yeah, there's some great comments coming through. You talk about mood and sort of mood and atmosphere about when to have a dram, and I hope Virtual Pub can provide that for so many people around Australia tonight. And indeed, if you are locked down elsewhere in the world, you might be. Some of our colleagues in the UK recently had all their holidays cancelled because growing cases again over there, etc. So if you are watching this from wherever you're watching this, I really appreciate you tuning in. Share a dram with us. Share some stories. Throw some comments in. There's heaps coming through already. Really nice comment from someone here saying, Matt Bailey, you do such a great job with these things. Thanks in advance. Need it tonight. Look, you're very welcome. That's what Virtual Pub's about. It's not a sales night. It's not just about these drams that we're enjoying right now. In fact, Alex and I haven't even talked about this 100.24 yet. It's more about just coming together and sharing good things. In fact, and I can always rely on Karen. Karen jumps in on all of these things, and she always likes to throw shade at Alex.
Loves some muckrake. Look at her.
You know what? Worsey is a guest, not a special one though. I argue
that's pretty mild for Karen.
That is on par with the course, Karen. I really appreciate that because you know how it goes. And not sure my name's not showing up. It doesn't matter. Cheers, everyone. Look, there's some names who are showing, some aren't. That's okay. And someone was saying I had a Linkwood starter. Yeah, I saw someone starting off with polishing melons, 39.199. 30-year-old, 39.
Snap. That's
there it is
to have later.
There it is. Polishing melons from the Waltz bot. Was that from the Waltz kit?
I think that was from the referrals kit.
Oh wow. Maybe? Okay. Yeah. Yep.
But yeah, snap to. I can't see who said it, but
no,
sharing that with you later on.
Lots of comments coming through. It's
Eden,
so good
to see.
Yeah. Hi guys, our second virtual event. Absolutely loving it. Zara Kate Harris, great to have you. Thank you so much for coming along. You know what? It is a great community of people coming along. And Jay Hodes is in the house. Jay Hodes, you always leave some cracking comments. A bit late doing some work outside, now sitting down enjoying a dram, looking forward to this and the footy tonight, just like I'm at the pub. That's exactly right. In fact, I spoke to Scott Fitzsimons earlier today, and I called him a few hours ago, and I said, he answered the phone and said, you better be quick because the footy's about to start. So I said, well, look, just watch the footy, watch this, put this on the side. This is what it's about going to the pub and having a bit of fun. And Rob Akers rightly says, share it around. It's more than just a sealed bottle. Yeah, than a sealed bottle. It is. You know what? There's an old line. It doesn't taste like anything until it's open. You know that thing? It's like
it's not whiskey until it's out of the bottle. That's it.
That's it. Yeah. No. So just for the tech support kind of side of things tonight, we use Restream. I don't know how that connects up with Facebook at the moment, but if you want to show your name on here, just go to Restream Facebook connection or something like that. Yeah, you do have a strange font, Eden. I've always noticed that about your name. It says Ed N. I think I've even accidentally said Ed N on stream before, so I apologize in advance, but it's Eden, I know. Amit says, Amit, good to see you, mate. SMWS is by far the best whiskey club, and it's the cause of the amazing community. Cheers, everyone. Absolutely.
Awesome.
Oh, yeah. And
a great comment by Amit too, Matt. I was just thinking because I saw a post by you, Amit, earlier in the week, I think, on our page or on our group. And that's a huge thing you can do in lockdown. You know, virtual pubs one night, but how I love to see people opening bottles, sharing them in pictures on our page, or the group's probably the best spot if you're a member and you want to jump on and, you know, share what you're doing with Society Drams. And then it just gets everyone talking and keeps people excited about whiskey. Love it.
Yeah, it is. And that's just part of the community fun of it. And we're going to be taking up your comments all night as we go along here. And great to see what people are enjoying. There is a great question here from a newer member, and he or she asks, I'm coming to the end of my first year with SMWS. Does the subscription renew automatically? Yes, it does. I'm keen to enter it for a lifetime subscription. Wow, that's so good to hear. Yes, it automatically renews. If your card is still valid on file, if you haven't changed your credit card or something, then it's fine. It just automatically renews. And of course, we've got some renewal specials, I think, on tonight as well. We also have some giveaways tonight. Now, I want to bring this up before we jump in with our very special music guest coming in just a moment. Loving this pub already. Loving this pub already. The bouncer totally wearing my daytime PJs. And Fruit Voyage Delish. This is 100.24 we're starting with. A mellifluous Fruit Voyage. Like I said, we're not talking too much about the whiskeys tonight. This is about going to the pub and having a few drams with your friends. If you're enjoying this whiskey as much as I am, as you can see, I've already halfway through my dram. It's a 9-year-old refill bourbon hogshead. There's a couple of these left on the site, I think, if maybe one or two. And so this was 36 bottles available to Australia. And, of course, a single cask strength whiskey that the Society panel deemed worthy of bottling. And I thoroughly agree. It's a very worthy bottling. And
yeah, I agree, Pablo. That's a spot on note. I think that's it's all blackberry compote and turning a bit tropical. That's That's a fruit bomb.
I'm actually giving away some society vouchers tonight as well. So if you post your virtual pub 21, hashtag virtual pub 21, you know what? If someone is dramming tonight at the virtual pub wearing a full onesie, that might just actually score a voucher. I reckon that might score a voucher.
That should.
Yeah, that absolutely should. There's the hashtag again, hashtag virtual pub 21. Put it in our Facebook group or on our page or onto Instagram or Twitter, wherever you put it. Use that hashtag. We'll find it. And you know what? I'm looking forward to seeing some of the creative photos. Keep them fairly PG would be great. And some of the creative photos of how people are enjoying their virtual pub tonight. So post some photos up. James Caden, good to see you as always. This is so tasty. And Karen is already declaring her pajama situation here. Hashtag all
I wonder how many people have gone away to change. If they know a giveaway is involved, I wonder how many people are now getting into some elaborate pajamas.
Look, you know what? I'm going to give away a $50 voucher to the Society's website of any that you wish to actually jump on. Anything you want on the site. And I'm going to throw a $50 voucher for the most creative virtual pub photo. That's on tonight. So just like put it on your list. And we also have some really cool offers for new members. Those who are thinking about joining the Society. If you're watching this right now and you're not a member of the Society, you know what? We have some awesome offers coming up. So please stay tuned. We're going to go over to our guest, actually, who's queued up in the eaves ready for us tonight. Before we do, let me just bring up some of the things that I want to just jump on before here for a second. Alex, I'm going to bump you out for a sec. Really good to catch up with you, mate. Stay along for Virtual Pub. If you're in for a bit later, we might catch up again in a little bit, if that's all right.
Easy done. I'll be around.
Whatever works, and I'll catch you soon. Thank you, Alex. Everyone, throw some shade or some sunlight over to Alex's way if you like. I know who's going to do who. That's okay. And I'll see you soon. We'll keep dramming on. And thanks again.
Good on you guys. See you soon.
Indeed. This is our virtual pub, as I said tonight, and we have also our outturn coming up, which I'll talk a bit more later on. And we already revealed 1.244 as next month's malt of the month. Raisin toasted butter to boast, approved by Australian members. Going back to our roots with Distillery number 1. Hashtag virtual pub 21. There's the hashtag again, please. Use that hashtag to take your photos of your setup, take your photos of your drams on your table. However you're enjoying your virtual pub tonight, we are all in this together. We actually have some virtual pub super specials. That's just a screenshot from our website right now. I've slashed the prices on a bunch of bottlings just to share around some bottlings. So if you want to grab some things tonight, they go off sale at the end of tonight, I think, but no biggie. That's just a bit of fun and a few bottlings that we are on sort of almost bin ends of, you like, last drops. Nothing wrong with any of them. Of course, they are all panel approved single casks that we like to do. Before I head on to the next thing, like I said, we've got some giveaways to go through tonight. Now, the virtual pub tasting kit is one thing, of course. The other thing is, of course, this bottle I have in my hand here. This is a single cask, quarter cask, Oloroso whiskey from the Society. It's in a funny little bottle. I'll talk more about that for our virtual walkthrough soon. More on that to come. Okay. In the meantime, I'm going to bring in our special guest. Now, this guy, I discovered this guy through, I've jumped through some slides here. I'm going to have to come back to those. I discovered Julian James through actually a mutual friend, Julian White from Whiskey and Almond, who said to me, you've got to hear this guy. Like, you've just got to hear this guy. Like, unbelievable sound. And I was like, yeah, absolutely. I'm so keen. And we thought, what's going to the pub like what's it like going to the pub if you don't have some music in the background? And if not in the background, we want to hear him, how he plays and how he sounds and all the wonders of that. So why don't we jump in with Julian? I'm going to bring him in now. Here we go. Julian, we've got you.
I'm good. Yourself?
Good. Thank you so much for being part of Virtual Pub tonight.
No dramas at all. My absolute pleasure.
Awesome. It's so good to have some live music at the pub, and we really appreciate you coming in. If we can have, we'll go through our first set, and I'll take it away. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no dramas.
Keep the comments coming through, folks.
You want me to get going?
Yeah, let's get going. Why not? We'll have a chat after.
No worries. I had some of that 100.24, and it was awesome. So I'm all my vocals are all liquored up and warmed up. So 60%. After a few more, my playing might go down a bit, but we'll see how we go.
Just stick with the one for now. Thanks for.
Daddy worked like a mule farming Pine County coal. He stuffed up his back, he couldn't work anymore. He said one of these days you get out of them hills. Keep your nose on the grindstone and out of the pill. Well, the ways of the world really bring you to tears. Keep the Lord in your heart and you'll have nothing to fear. And do the best that you can. And don't lie, don't steal. Keep your nose on the grindstone and out of the field. Daddy, I've been trying, I just can't catch a break. There's too much in this world I can't seem to shake. But I remember your words, Lord, they bring me to chill. Keep your nose on the grindstone and out of the pill. Well, the worth of a man is as good as his word. It takes twice as long to build bridges you burn. There's pain in this life time alone cannot heal. Keep your nose on the grindstone and out of the pill. Daddy, I've been trying, I just can't catch a break. There's too much in this world I can't seem to shake. But I remember your words, they bring me to chill. Keep your nose on the grindstone and out of the pill. Nose on the grindstone and out of the pill. Oh, thank you. I've got a little audience here. Me and my lovely fiance, we live in a bus. I'm originally from living down in Yakandanda, down in Victoria. So I'm feeling for all my mates down there. We over the last, I think, the 2 lockdowns ago, we got in our bus and drove up here to Queensland, where I had some form of hope of playing music. And this next song is off my last album there, Silver Spade. Got a Chain Award for that one for Emerging Blues Artist of the Year. Apologies if I keep looking at over there. That's where my computer screen is. So. There's a song of mine called Grind and Wheel. I hope you enjoy. Well, I hit the road, I've been gone so long, and I don't know if I'm coming home. Ain't gonna drag me down. Ain't gonna drag me down. Say hello to that grinding wheel. Well, come on, little mama, teach me how to feel. I got a pretty little girl, a pretty little bird, a diamond in her eyes, forget the world. Ain't gonna drag me down. Ain't gonna drag me down. Say hello from my grinding wheel. Well, come on, little mama, teach me how to feel. Come on, little mama. big-legged woman in a small-legged town. Her angel eyes on that wedding gown ain't gonna drag me down. Ain't gonna drag me down. Say hello to that grinding wheel. Well, come on, little mama, teach me how to feel. Well, say hello to that grinding wheel. Well, come on, little mama, teach me how to feel. All right. Thank you. And Andrew Moore, you're absolutely right. I wrote that song in a tribute to Mississippi John Hurt from his Palette on the Floor. And yeah, good spot. Good spot. Well, this next song is an original of mine. It's going to be out in 2 albums' time, so you got to wait a bit. But my lovely lady was watching The Queen's Gambit, and and I didn't realize chess could be sexy until I saw that. So I wanted to write a song, and this is my song called The Gambit. So I hope you guys enjoy there, and I hope you're all staying safe and sane. I think is more or less appropriate. So here we go. Lines are blurry, wrong and right. In my mind to fight the good fight. Drinks are going down, devoid of praise. Clock beckons me with an evil glare. Well, one night is all it took. Queen advanced and captured the rook. Castle laying on broken ground. There once was a king, now a poor is found. Was it the rocks or the old foundation? All the gods we decided to patron. Armor on my back with all my fears. Drowning in a moat with all my tears. Well, one night is all it took. Queen advanced and captured the rook. Castle laying on broken ground. There once was a king, now is found. Well, one night is all it took. Queen advanced and captured the road. Castle laying on broken ground. There once was a king, now a poor is found. All right. Thank you. Well, we're gonna do a. You want some whiskey drinking song? We'll do some Muddy Waters for you, ladies and gentlemen. Go down to the Devil's tuning. Here we go. they're leaving, won't be back no more. I'm going down south, child, don't you wanna go? Well, I'm troubled, oh, red man. Well, I just can't be satisfied, I just can't keep from crying. Well, you know my little lady, she gon' jump and shout. That old train, they fade, and I come walking out. Well, I'm troubled, oh, red man. Well, I just can't be satisfied, just can't keep from crying. Let's go, baby, come on. Well, I feel like snapping pistol in your face. I'm gonna let this graveyard be your resting place. Well, I'm troubled, oh, red man. Well, I just can't be satisfied, just can't keep from crying. Come on, baby, come on. Yeah. Alrighty. Well, this next song, I'm going to do some hill country music for you, ladies and gentlemen. This is an RL Birdside number, and sort of mix it in with another song there. Hope you enjoy. Whoa, black Matty ain't got change of clothes. Who got drunk? Closed out door. Whoa, black Matty. Well, whoa, black Matty. Well, whoa, black Matty. Ain't got no change of clothes. Don't need no fireplace, babe, by my bed. The woman I got keep me cherry red. Don't need no fireplace by my bed. The woman I got, well, the woman I got, well, the woman I got keep me now cherry red. Oh! Whoa, black man man ain't got change of clothes. Food got drunk, close that door. Well, the old black man in. Well, the old black man in. Well, the old black man in. Ain't got no change of clothes. I said, oh, old black Betty, bound now. I said, oh, old black Betty, bound now. Black Betty had a child, bound now. The damn thing all wild, bound now. She's always ready, bound now. Oh, black Betty, bound now. I said, oh, old black Betty, bound now. I said, oh, old black Betty took a bound now. Whoa! All right. Well, this next, I'm going to change over instruments here. Do something a little bit different for you. I don't know if you can see on here. Oh. So, thank you very much for inviting me on the show here, Matt. I really appreciate it. It's been an interesting time, to say the least. And, oh, there you are. You're up.
Here I am. I'm right here. I'm right here.
No worries.
Awesome. Well, yeah, go for it. No, I was going to say thank you so much for being. This is the comments coming through. Nothing short of seriously incredible. Like the feedback, everyone's loving this. This is just so good. Big shout out, Julian James. Like seriously, follow this guy. Check him out. If you like this stuff, I love this kind of music. I love it. So just like go follow him. Where can they hear more? Give us the details.
Well, I'm trending super fresh on TikTok, so you can get me on TikTok. Facebook, I've got Julian James artist, I think it is, and Instagram as well, or julianjames.com.au. I'm just about to drop a new album in September, but there's 2 albums up there already. So
awesome.
Yeah, I travel around the country me and my lovely lady, we built a bus through lockdown in Victoria, and so we're going everywhere we're allowed to go, really.
Awesome. Amazing. And you've got some harmonica for us, you said.
Yeah. So this is a harmonica. This is a harmonica song. It's Big Joe Williams originally, but everybody covered it. You'll know it. And it's a song called "Baby Please Don't Go." So
take it away.
It's a familiar song to a lot of people. I mean, Van Morrison, AC/DC, the list goes on. So, but I'm just going to do it on the harmonica. Here we go. Baby, please don't go. Baby, please don't go. Baby, please don't go down to New Orleans. You know I love you so. Turn your lamp down low. Turn your lamp down low. Turn your lamp down low. Tell you all night long, baby, please don't go. Before I be your dog. Before I be your dog. Before I be your dog, make you walk along down the county farm. Baby, please don't go. Baby, please don't go. Baby, please don't go down to New Orleans. Oh, I love you so. All right.
Bloody amazing. Let's go. How about we go? We'll go one more with Julian, and then we'll take a bit of a break. We've actually got another guest on, but Julian's actually coming back for a second set. So obviously, don't go anywhere. But yeah, we'll catch you in a bit. Yeah.
Well, this next song is my latest single I released. It's from the new album, which is coming out in September. It's got a really cool animation online there. And this is a song of mine called Little Lady. Sorry, this guitar's not liking that. Here we go. Late one night when I come into town, streets are empty and nobody's around. Please, little lady, what I would do for even a slice of love from you. So come on, little lady, take me now, 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 now. Let's go down. Well, my bags are packed and I'm ready to go. Come on, little lady, won't you let me know? Please, little lady, take me now, 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 now. Let's go down.
Julian, what a legend. Thank you so much. What an amazing first set. What a diverse first set. So I'm a huge Black Betty fan, so that hit it for me. But like all those songs were so good. So good. Thank you so much. That's so good.
Oh, my absolute pleasure. Thanks for having me on the show.
We're going to have you back a little bit later on for a bit more of a second set, which would be great. In the meantime, there's been some amazing comments coming through. Andrew Moat, in fact, says here, I remember where I've heard you before, Bendigo Blues and Roots Fest. Anyone who has to sift through the number of talented Aussie blues musicians, the whole festival is streamed live on YouTube. And just lots of great comments coming through, of course. Virtual claps, but you know what? That's how it goes at the moment. And Jay Hurd says, of course, yeah, that was great. Like everyone's just loving what you've been doing here. So thank you so much we'll have we'll get you back on in a bit. Yeah.
No worries. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. Wow. Seriously, so incredible. What an amazing amazing musician. What an amazing artist. Like, that's just, I think he set the scene for Virtual Pub better than I ever could anyway. So thank you so much again to Julian James. Like, there's been some great comments and great requests coming through. Brilliant music. Everyone's saying, you know what? It really was. It's just, he's set the tone in a way. He's fantastic. We've been tasting through 100.24. I've finished my sample. That's really tasty stuff. Of course, we are have something else very special lined up right now in Virtual Pub. Now, there's a lot of members here of the society in Australia who perhaps have been to the vaults, but I'd wager there's more that haven't. The vaults for us, as you can see from the background of this video, even right now, is the spiritual and actual home of the SMWS. It's the oldest. I want to get this right. It's the oldest commercially used building in the entire United Kingdom, if not perhaps maybe the world. It's been used for wine storage for hundreds of years. It's been the home of the Scotch Malt Whisky Society now since 1983, when Pip Hills took over the vaults, took over from where J.G. Thompson left off, and has built the society and built this amazing membership and built this amazing club as we know it today. It's such a stunning building, and it's such a piece of history for the society and for the UK, as for Scotland as well. It's right in Leith. Leith is such a fascinating area as well. It's such a vibrant hub of I guess it's very gentrified these days, and it's very there's so many beautiful historical moments of the whiskey industry throughout there. You can see old bond stores that were once used to store barrels by White and Mackay or Diageo or whatnot, that are now being used instead as like luxury apartments and whatnot. So it's a very it's changed. It's not as big in the whiskey scene anymore, Leith, but it was for a very long time. And where we're going from here, what I'm saying is, we've got something very special lined up for Virtual Pub, something I'm supremely excited to announce to you tonight. As I was saying, as I started out this monologue just a minute ago, there's so many members who have joined the society in the last few years who have never been to the vaults. So if you've joined the society in the last 2 years, I'd wager you've not been to the vaults, because international travel has not been a thing. We wanted to bring the vaults to you for this Virtual Pub. The venue manager for the vaults is a lovely gentleman, Gregor Forbes. Gregor is one of the loveliest, salt of the earth kind of people I know. He manages the venue. He's the venue manager. His title might be slightly different from that, but he's the big dog. Let's put it that way. He knows what he's doing. He's got he's going to go for a trip around the vaults, and I'm going to get him to do a virtual tour of the vaults for us tonight. So you are witnessing this live. Gregor, I'm going to bring him in. Thank you so much for doing this. Here we go.
Hello. How are we? Welcome to the vaults.
Great to see you, Gregor. Thank you so much.
Hey,
what a welcome.
What about the noise?
I'm going to get my screens right here. Gregor, so good to have you on. Thank you so much.
Not at all. Not at all.
So as I introed you with, I said you're sort of the big dog. You're the venue manager, if you like, of the vaults, and it's so great to have you on. This is the first time you've ever been on a society stream as well with us.
Absolutely.
And I just want to give members a bit of a look of what the Waltz is, because we talk about it so much, and Australia probably is the furthermost country from the Waltz, if you like, in terms of places where we have branches. And we have a lot of members who've perhaps never taken the journey all the way to Leith, especially not in the last 2 years. Or last 18 months, I should say. We're going to be bordering on close to 2 years soon. Don't worry. But I wanted just for you just to show us around, what is the Waltz? What is the room you're in?
Absolutely. I mean, first and foremost, I better introduce this fine chap, Pipe Major Ian Grant, who played us in.
Thank you very much.
Morning, sir. So yeah, I mean, we're in the members' room. I mean, I'm going to walk around. I hope my webcam is up to scratch. I'm not as professional at all this as you are, Matt, but I'll have a wee wander around, and hopefully we can give everyone a bit of a feeling of what it's like to be here on a beautiful sunny Saturday morning.
Fantastic. Thank you so much.
So yeah, I mean, we're standing basically in the members' room. I don't want to move around too much, but I want to try and give everyone a bit of a view of what the members' room really is and really is like. I heard your intro to there at the start, Matt. The members' room is obviously relatively unchanged since the society was formed in 1983. Pip bought the building. He saw an opportunity to create a home for the society in 1982, and they bought the building for a measly sum, very much in today's money, of £45,000. And they put together quite a spectacular plan at the time to turn the building into the home of the society, and they renovated pretty much the majority of the building into residential flats, of which at the time, you know, there would have been a need for. And then the rest of the building was, part of the building was a restaurant. And then obviously the Waltz that the building is named after, the cellars, they're owned by a separate company, a wine company based here in Edinburgh, Rayburn Fine Wines.
So where you came in from, those steps leading up to the Waltz, you're in the main room at the moment, and you've got the camera pointed at the bar where the members' bar is. And that's, as you said, this room is relatively unchanged in recent years, or?
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, the layout of this room, this is a bit of a sticking point with the members and those that try and do anything to move something around or, you know, change something in the room. It's a very special room. It's a very treasured room. You know, we've got little pieces of art on the wall that, you know, have been here for many years. There's a John Cleese painting. There's a Matt Hancock, very non-PC. Nick Hancock painting. You've got the Point One collection, which is over. I mean, like every single Point One that the Whiskey Society has ever released.
Has the 7.1 arrived yet?
No, not yet. I am waiting very patiently for that to arrive. I've heard lots and lots of good things.
Yeah. That's what we're looking at there. For everyone watching along at home right now, what we're looking at there is a complete collection of the .1s, the first release from every distillery the society's ever released.
Yeah, and we also, I mean, and then over on the right hand side, a lovely thing for the members, we've got a bottle keep which is bulging, I would say. Very popular with the members, where they come in, they buy a bottle, and they get a little tag on it with their name, and then every time they come into the room, they can help themselves to their own bottle. Once we let them into the cupboard with their key, and they can pour them and their guests, you know, a couple of drams from their own bottle.
Oh, fantastic. And then there's the main bar that you.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the main bar. I mean, we're a small building, and it's a small room, but it's one that everyone loves dearly. So, you know, we feel very honoured to be the ones that are looking after it for this period of its history, because it's got quite a long, as you sort of alluded to at the start, it's definitely got a very long and treasured history.
Now, I know the resolution might not do it justice, But is there any chance you could point us towards the roof for a second?
Absolutely.
Now, I reference this. There's all these Bob Dewar drawings from the Bob Dewar era of the society. He was the artist who did a lot of the drawings in the early newsletters and bottling lists. And it's been sort of now almost like eternalized in the ceiling.
Yes. And I mean, I'm not very good at this, Matt, so I do apologize. I hope everyone at home is coping with my horrendous camera skills.
You're doing great. You're doing great. Don't worry about it. You're doing great.
But no, I mean, the seating, we've mentioned that nothing's changed. I think all that we could say about the seats is they've become more and more comfortable. So people sink into them more and more, after a couple of drams, and you see many people just lying back and sort of gazing up at the ceiling. It's quite funny actually, because if you take time to go round the artwork on the ceiling, you can see how very clearly a lot of things have changed in the way in which not only the society viewed the world of whiskey, but how we all view the world of whiskey. They're very scathing about grain whiskey up there, believe it or not.
Wow.
And I mean, if you remember down here at the Volts, you'll know that we treasure some of these spectacular grains that we release. Some of the old ones are some of the finest examples of what we do. So yeah,
absolutely. People are loving this, by the way. We've got a couple of hundred people tuned in right now, which is so good to see. People saying this is so cool, great to see, and people saying I love the idea of having your own bottle in the members space, very inclusive. That's also good to see. So this is obviously those.
The pandemic. Obviously, it would be. You're obviously all very much. This is why we're doing the virtual night just now. So first and foremost, I'm not wearing my mask. There's no one in the building. We're taking things just as seriously as we possibly can. When it comes to the society and inclusive, we've always wanted the members to come in and sit down beside each other and share a dram and share a story. Some of the dishes that we create, for the menu here at the Volts are always sharing dishes. So, it's just another example of how what we're all going through has changed very much, how we're all experiencing not only the venue, but, our lives going forward. You have to book to come into the room now. Everyone sits at their own table with their own friends and their own. It just, originally, 2 years ago, that just wasn't the case.
No, it was just find a seat and sit on it. It was just, it was
absolutely. And, the room is silent just now, and it's a beautiful room. I was listening to your music just before you introduced me, which was amazing, by the way. Me and Ian were bobbing away there listening to it. And the music like this, the acoustics in this room when we have music is spectacular. Equally, it's a nice silent room, so of a quiet midweek lunchtime, you can come in peace and quiet, read a book. It's a wonderful place to whittle away some hours. Equally, on a Friday, Saturday that you've just kind of gone back in the day, every seat taken. A couple deep at the bar, people waiting to get in, almost hovering over somebody finishing an ice cream so that they can get their table when they leave. And then the acoustics in the room, it becomes a very noisy, a very atmospheric room. So it lends itself very well to both these examples. So if you arrive on a Tuesday afternoon, you've got all the time in the world to speak to the guys behind the bar and indulge in a few drams. But equally, if you come in on a Friday night, you're going to get a different atmosphere and one that's just as enjoyable, but for all different reasons.
Paul McAllister here saying, to get back to those days when you could just turn up and relax with the dram. We can turn up and relax with the dram virtually tonight at least. But it'd be good to get back to, of course, it'd be great to get back to the Volts. And of course, we're just for those who have tuned in just recently, we are chatting with Gregor Forbes, the venue manager of the Volts, spiritual and actual home of the society. So where are we going now?
I'm just going to wander down the corridor just to show you. We don't have an awful lot of space. We've got 2 private event rooms here at the Volts. That were our own little tastings, but also private dinners. So we've got the cask room down at the end here.
So explain the cask room.
Cask room's just it's an event room that we have. It's probably our largest event room that we have here. We've got the cask room and the tasting room. The cask room at the moment we've capped it at 24 people, but that's because our restrictions have lifted a little bit. But normally about 32 people would be able to sit in here and do a tasting. We've got some rather special bottles. I'm not going to show you them because you might actually ask me to send you some of them. We've got some special bottles that Jan and some of our colleagues have managed to source from generous members, or bottles that we think the members might like to indulge in tastings. So yeah, we've got a chocolate tasting in here today. So that lady's arriving very shortly. And then the corridor we're just up. We've got the kitchen, very noisy kitchen in there, a couple of boys in there, and then I'll take you around to the tasting room.
Okay.
And the tasting room is another area that we can go back to a little bit of history. Do you want to good morning to Joe, Matt?
Hey, Joe. Good to see you. Been too long.
And then we have the tasting room, which is again is a different room, a little bit more traditional. And this is the room that the tasting panel will traditionally meet in and taste all these amazing whiskies that Ewan has selected for us to try. And going back to the history of the building, that's the original. This is actually an original sink. I'm sorry, it's not a great picture, guys. But that's the original sink that's been here since the building was put up in 1786 by the Thompson family. There was a one-story building here that dates back to the 14th century. And then J.G. Thompson and family, obviously, when they hit better times, they increased the size of the building to the sort of 3-4 story building it is today. And obviously that was when casks and things were getting sent over from France and Spain and things. And then it would be bottled here. They would taste it here and then bottle, what they thought was of good quality and then sell it on. But obviously then as things changed, the use of the building became very different. A lot of the building fell into disrepair, and obviously that provided the opportunity for Pip to get his hands on it and create what is now our spiritual home.
And you've obviously I've met Pip once, but you've obviously dealt with him a few times at the tastings and certain special events at the Waltz. For those following along at home, we're referencing Pip Hills, the founder of the Scotch Malt Whisky Society. What's it like working with him? What's the sort of the vibe?
Yeah, no, it's quite, I have to be honest, it's quite special. He wasn't really around very much when I first started at the society. And then I think, very much thanks to David Ridley, our managing director, he became much more involved in things that we do here at the society. He's hosted some amazing tastings for us. He's sat with the teams. He's had dinner with some of the sort of ambassadors. He's just happy to be around. I think he takes great pleasure in seeing what his idea has grown into. It's very special to have him around. Even if he's in the city, his daughter lives fairly close to us here in Edinburgh. He lives a little bit further up the coast in a lovely place called Montrose. Right on the coast, sort of northeast of Scotland. But if he ever is in the area and he pops in to visit, it's a lovely thing. He's a man of many stories, and he's certainly a more accomplished presenter and storyteller than I am.
Yeah, you're not wrong about man of many stories. In fact, one of my little giveaways tonight for anyone who, a little bit later on, perhaps maybe, was a copy of his book, The Founder's Tale. Great storytelling at its finest, really.
So I'll have a wander back through to the members' room, because that's the bit I think everyone, here in Edinburgh, everyone has their favourite. We're very lucky here. We've got the two venues in Edinburgh, and we obviously have the Waltz, the spiritual home, but then we also have Queen Street, 28 Queen Street up in the Newtown, and it's a spectacular building. over many different levels with a very different decor and ambience, and one that the members enjoy, you know, for different reasons. Some have their favorites, some very much enjoy both the venues and are very much regulars to both venues. We certainly, I think what we do share very well are people that visit the tastings. So you have the team up at Queen Street. I think one thing that's amazing here, and we're very lucky with the teams that do host the tastings, everyone puts their own you know, slant on or style on what they do. So yeah, it's an amazing thing. Each tasting I would describe as bespoke. No two are the same.
No. You know, speaking of which, actually, we have Gregor, you very graciously sent me this bottle, which I'm going to bring up on. I'm going to enlarge myself a little bit here. This living cask bottle here of Society Spirit SC71, it says, and it's from a first fill Oloroso. It's a 350 ml hand fill from the very room of which you're standing. Can you tell us just a little bit about
that? Distillery 71. You know, first fill, we're very lucky in that we have these lovely, can you see them, Matt? Can you see the casks? Yeah, kind of.
Yeah. We can see the casks.
We have the casks that sit on the bar. And obviously, you know, maybe I'm not the most technical description in the world, but certainly the impact that these small barrels have on the liquid that we put in, you know, the liquid changes very quickly. So, you know, we see the progression, how it matures, how it, you know, sometimes it tastes spectacular. Other times, you know, you kind of, you know, have a look at it and think, yeah, maybe it needs a little bit more time. Sometimes we think it's maybe, you know, had a little bit too much time in the barrel in this room. But what we are surprised at, if you give it a little bit more time, it tends to, you know, it comes back again. It becomes this wonderful rounded dram. So the one that I've sent you is First Fill Oloroso, Distillery 71. So that was a 7-year-old Distillery 71 that was originally in a refill bourbon cask, and then we've basically poured all of that liquid into a little 50-litre firkin that the cooperage has whittled down for us. And then that's gone in there, and that, I have to say, is a rather spectacular example. So that would be an amazing thing. And I have to say, Matt, it's can you see? I don't know if you can see me here.
Yeah,
I can basically see. It's empty. It's nearly empty. I think there's only a very small. This one's a lot more full. This is a second fill Oloroso, but the one that you have there, that must be one of the last remaining bottles in the world.
And I'm giving this away. How exciting is that? So, you know what? You know, Gregor, you sent this to me and you said, oh, why don't we have a dram of this together on the stream? And I said, it'd be great if I could actually give this to a member. So here's how it works tonight, folks. If you're tuned in right now, I have a 350 ml hand fill from the exact cask that Gregor is standing next to right now in the vaults. Think about that for a second. Now, there's two ways to win this. One, join the society. It's as simple as that. Join the world's most colorful whiskey club, and you go in the draw to win this. The other way to win it is, if you're already a member, refer a friend. It's as simple as that. Refer a friend to join, and you also go in the draw. So you have an opportunity as a member and as an opportunity as a non-member to join, and I will send you this bottle. Someone has to win this. If nobody wins it, I'll end up cracking it open and drinking it because it looks very, very tasty. First fill Oloroso color is looking very appealing. So don't let me drink this. I'm going to actually have to send this to a member. That really sort of actually is quite sad for me because I don't actually get to drink this then. But it means that I actually get to share this with a member. And even better if we could actually, if I can hand it to that member in person maybe at some point. If I can't, I'll end up mailing it. But if we can't, either way, you know what? I'm going to give this to a member. Refer a friend. Literally send the membership, send the society to a friend. Get them to put your name in the referrer box or join the society tonight. Use the code VirtualPub21. I've been talking about that hashtag all night. And you'll get a nice little discount off your membership as well on everything except the Father's Day specials. No existing specials apply on that membership type. Thank you so much, Gregor. It's been so good to catch up with you. It's been too long between drinks, of course. I haven't seen you since May 2019 was when we caught up last in person. where I destroyed a bedroom and spent a week at Brandon Branch. So I really want to appreciate you taking the time to catch up with us this evening or this morning in your case.
Not at all. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Would you like Pipe Major Ian to play us out before we go?
Let's play us out. Play us out, please do. Yes, play us out.
Play us out. Ian, play us out. Bye, guys.
Thank you, Ian. Thank you, Gregor. Thank you so much. We'll see you all soon.
Take care. And Matt, you're doing an amazing job. We're all very proud of you. And I hope you're all okay and staying safe over there. So all the very best.
Love your work, Gregor. I'll speak to you soon. Thank you so much.
Take care.
Keep an eye on those 147.1s for your archive. They're on the way, I promise. Wow. Amazing to have Gregor on. What a treat. What a treat. And being piped in and out. You know what? We've had a bit of Julian James. We've had a bit of promo. We've had a bit of sort of bit of fun here and everything. This has been so good. So many comments coming in thanking Gregor. What a tour. You know what? Like I said, there's been so many members have joined in the last 2 years alone, even last 18 months, who may have not even known what the Waltz was. You haven't had the opportunity to get over there. As soon as the international travels, I think, again, you must put, of course, Scotland on your flight itinerary, and you must get to the Waltz and Queen Street, of course, and Bath Street and Greville Street, all four of the UK venues. And look, here we go. This is what I mean. Michael says, fantastic to see the Waltz for the first time. That's exactly right. Robert Akers says, was that your annual performance review, Matt? Sounds like it went well. Yeah, thanks a lot. I'll find out. And lots of claps. You know what? It was just so good to see. Now, bit of music, bit of tour. It's time for dram number 2. You know what? It's that time of the night. I'm going to bring in, of course, none other than our cellar master, our New South Wales state manager, the man behind it all, of course, Andrew Durbidge. Welcome to the stream. Thank you so much for coming in.
Matt, good to see you. Well done. It's been fantastic so far. That was incredible. My last trip to the Waltz was 2017. I haven't been there for a while now, so that certainly brought back some memories.
Exactly, and mine was only in May 19, but it's still when you think about that date, it's like that's more than 2 years ago. So yeah. You go.
Well, one of the things that newer members may not appreciate, but there was a long time there, and Gregor mentioned it when the Waltz actually when they made converted into residential suites, and the society actually hung on to 4 of those units, which were available for members. So if you were a member of the society, you could book and stay at the Waltz. And my wife and I, in 2008, we took the kids across there and stayed in what I think was called the Linkwood Suite from memory, and actually stayed. It was an amazing thing. And you know, unfortunately, I think it was about 2010, 2011, the powers that be at the time decided to sell the units off, which was a tragedy. And the really unfortunate thing is that Airbnb didn't really come in until a year or two later, which would have absolutely, been a lay down misère for them. So anyway.
Yeah. Rob Akers makes a point here that it's AD no vest.
Well, I'm at the pub. I mean,
that's true. You're at the pub. Get away with it.
And I really did try to recreate the pub experience for myself tonight. So just before walking in the door, I got my son to throw up on my shoes as I was standing out there. Actually, I queued outside for 5 minutes just to get the mood. And when we finish up here, I'm going to the kitchen and my wife's going to make a kebab for me. So it's a real pub experience for me tonight.
I thought we'd actually have a taste of dram number 2. For those playing along at home, we did send out these virtual pub tasting kits. They were optional as part of tonight's experience. And it's an opportunity for us to just share a dram at the same time and have special guests on and have a chat at the pub. You might run into someone else at the pub and someone says, hey, let's buy everyone a round of 38.29 Lust for Must. We're heading into some pretty old whiskey territory here, 25-year-old whiskey. See if my camera can zoom in on that one. Maybe not. That's okay. Get as close as I can. There we go.
Don't you have your camera set so that it just focuses perfectly on you all the time?
It's just here. It's just here. The whole focus is just here. That's it. Yeah. No, if I hold this up, it's supposed to refocus, but see how we go. Look, Lust for Must, 38.29. There we go. That works even better. Works a treat. A 25-year-old whiskey, a 25-year-old Speyside whiskey from a completely demolished distillery.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. There's not too many pubs you can go to. Certainly not in Sydney, where you can turn up and get a 25-year-old dram. This is pretty special. Again, if I was trying to recreate my early pub experiences, you were lucky if you got Johnny Walker Red, Johnny Walker Black, and Glenfiddich was about all that was on offer when I first started getting into pubs. Anyway, but to get a 25-year-old from a demolished closed distillery, what an experience.
On that point, actually, you raise a really interesting sort of topic just for a second about that whole sort of. You are right, though. I mean, like it's. The availability of great whiskey behind a bar now has changed so much over the years. I mean, as you said, I mean, I'm just old enough to remember when it was maybe Lafroig 10, Glenfiddich 12, and a black label sort of thing, and that's the offering.
Yeah, well, look, I started sneaking into pubs in 1989, and that was the year that the classic malts was launched in the UK, and they didn't really find their way to Australia till a year or two later. Back then, I mean, even the most well-stocked bottle stock shops just had Glenfiddich and Glenlivet and the Johnny Walker range at the time, and you had to really be in the know to go to the special importers who were bringing the Norman Cases of the world who were bringing in the really special stuff at that time. So if you wanted a good dram, you certainly didn't head for a pub for it. So we've come a long way, and you look at the selection in some pubs now, let alone the whiskey bars we have. It's a real treat.
Absolutely.
This is this spectacular drop.
Isn't it? Isn't the nose on that just unbelievable?
Yeah. So, I mean, Matt, do you want me to just quickly run through a bit about the distillery? It's not one we encounter too often.
Let's do it. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So, look, it was founded in 1898 by our friends at Glen Grant. And Glen Grant at the time had been getting some fantastic market exposure, probably one of the really early distilleries to sell itself as a single malt and export it itself. And riding that wave, they thought, we're getting so much business here, we should really expand. But rather than expand the distillery, they decided to build a replica over the road, as the story goes, was directly across the road. And it became known as Glen Grant No. 2. And so that was 1898. And it was a shocking case of bad timing, because it was only a few years later that we had the Patterson crash, and the whiskey industry went into a major decline, and distilleries closed everywhere. And Glen Grant No. 2 was one of them. So it closed in 1903, I think, from memory, and it was silent for the next 60 years. And it wasn't until 1965 when it reopened. So 60 years of just gathering dust. And then Glen Grant reopened it. Again, they were experiencing another surge in business, and the distillery ran for a little bit, changed hands a few times. Glen Grant eventually found its way into the hands of Pernod Ricard at that time. It was then subsequently acquired by Campari, and poor old Glen Grant No. 2, which became, can we mention names? Are we mentioning names tonight down the pub?
We can mention names.
Okay. So the distillery became known as Capadonic, and that actually wasn't until 1977, at which point the only reason they did that was because they passed a law in Scotland that said you couldn't have two distilleries with the same name. So, and this is the same reason why when Brora opened at Brora No. 2, when Clynelish No. 2 opened up, it was called Brora rather than Clynelish No. 2. So Capadonic was Glen Grant No. 2, got its name in 1977, and unfortunately, wrapped up by the late 2000s. It was closed by 2008 when I walked through the joint, and then demolished a year or two later because the site got acquired by Forsyth, who, of course, are the makers of all the stills. So absolutely not more than just a closed distillery. It's a demolished distillery now. It doesn't exist. So every time you have a dram of Capadonic now, you're really having a time capsule, something that we're not going to find more of again. And what's interesting, of course, is that the more each time we go back to Capadonic, they're getting older and older from when the distillery closed. And so to a certain extent, we're starting to lose that insight into the distillery's character, because obviously as the whiskey's casks get older, you're taking on more and more cask influence. But I have to say, at 25 years old and refill bourbon casks, this is still just giving you that magic little insight into what the spirit was like. It's that beautiful aged Speyside experience that we don't taste too much of these days. I mean, the society's been great at bottling 8, 9, 10, 11, 12-year-old Speysiders. So to have one of this age, I think, is a treat.
Absolutely. It's, you know what, they weren't the only distillery. Capadonic was not the only, Glen Grant 2 was not the only distillery that was designed to, for the increase of demand, that never actually matched the original profile. And I think it was almost this funny era where distilleries thought they could add another distillery to the side of the existing one or across the road or whatever, and it just never turned out to be the same spirit. And I think there was a lot of learnings in that.
There's a few cases of that, isn't there? Yeah, despite the best attempts to replicate something, even the same size stills, the water source was the same. For whatever reason, the spirit character was always just a little bit different.
Yeah, I mean,
I've just had my first sip of that, having nosed it for a few moments, and what a rich, sweet experience.
It's the alchemy of the whole creation of start to finish, and from barley to bottle, if you like. There's nothing that really can replicate that whole sort of same thing. They were never ever going to create the same thing as Glen Grant in the end, were they? Yeah,
that's exactly it. I just looked off to the side here and saw a comment from Jennifer and Alex, who, of course, came on the 2017 Whiskey Tour to Scotland, and their comment about going through the vaults. Alex, my condolences for the footy today, and, in fact, anyone else who's a Swans fan. What can I say? The Giants got up. But this is the pub, Matt. We've got to talk footy. That's part of the banter, isn't it?
We've got to talk footy. It's on the TV on the side somewhere, so that's okay. Damien asks, do we have an insight as to how many more casks the society has of Distillery 38? Look, we don't know that exact number, but I would wager it's not many. I mean, it's demolished. The distillery is demolished. There'll be fewer and fewer availability of stock on this, and over the years, it's also going to become less and less. Just on that point of closed distilleries, however, there are some closed or demolished distilleries in Scotch whisky history that I think have taken on an almost cult-like status. They've got to be incredible because they're closed now, and I think that's almost unfair. But I would wager this is one of the best sort of older closed distilleries I've tasted numerous times, along with I'll say as well, like Convalmore as well, a few others that you say, and Glenvore especially for me as well. But you taste and you go, oh, they are incredible spirits, and I think sometimes they are often missed, if that makes sense. They don't get the spotlight they deserve.
Oh, absolutely. And look, I wrote an article on this, which members you will actually find on the Society website. Don't forget the Society, everyone goes to our website on our turn day. Don't forget we have a fantastic blog there and an amazing resource with Whiskey Wise. If you've gone to the website, you look at the banner across the top, you wonder what Whiskey Wise is. There's some amazing articles and writings there. But one of the pieces I wrote some time ago there made the point that very few distilleries were ever closed because of a quality issue. They were invariably closed because it just didn't make economic sense to run them anymore. The accountants moved in, and they were either it was going to cost too much to bring them up to standard and up to modern, manufacturing and industrial facility requirements from an occupational health and safety method, or they were surplus to requirements. The owners had enough distilleries to fulfill the needs they needed. So fulfill their needs they needed. That's great, fantastic English, Andrew. For their requirements. And so, yeah, I mean, there's probably only, when you look at distilleries that closed from a quality issue, this distillery isn't making great juice. I mean, the two that come up all the time are Parkmore, which closed back in 1929 or something like that. And the other one that's occasionally gets mentioned in those circles is Imperial. Other than that, distilleries, and Ardbegg's the classic. You look at Ardbeg, it closed entirely because it was surplus to Allied's needs at the time. And, we all found out down the track what a tragedy that was. And the reason I'm rabbiting on about this is that I think Capadonic is just one of those unfortunate players that at the time was just surplus to what Pernod Ricard needed with their blends. And as a result, we lost something. And 25 years later, you taste this and go, oh, what a tragedy.
Yeah, what a loss, really. I mean, someone mentions here Distillery 97 is another example of a closed distillery. we're mentioning names. That's Little Mill. We've actually taken a little bit of a little smidge off that Little Mill and popped it on the virtual pub sales tonight. So actually, if you want to jump on that is of course online at the moment. And as per your request, Andrew, some of the scores are coming through at the moment for us. Melbourne versus Brisbane, Q2 updates to come. And Swans says here, it looks like unsettling result, 4 behinds in the last period of the game. Look, I don't know what that means. Okay, but that's okay. And Ben Wallace.
If we're declaring colours, I'll just say go Essendon. I'll squeeze that in there.
Go Essendon.
I've probably just gone down in the esteem of most viewers having said that out loud, but anyway.
You didn't say Collingwood. It's okay. Awesome. All right. So where are we up to?
There's a question from James Carden who's asked, wasn't there a Lagavulin 2 as well? And he's absolutely right. That, of course, is the fabled malt mill. Malt mill was the attempt to make Lagavulin number 2. And that closed in the early 60s, I think, from memory. Is that right, Matt? Do you recall?
Ben Wyvis?
No, this is Lagavulin 2, which became known as malt mill.
No, I think it was earlier than 60s. Like far early. Yeah, I actually think it was pre-World War II even.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, I've heard of it. I was having this discussion, I think, with someone recently, just about there were matured examples of malt mill out and about at some point. I've never even heard of that. I've seen the samples of the new make, and at Lagavulin Distillery they have in the cabinet a sample of malt mill. Yeah. But I don't know if I've heard of mature bottlings, as in like cask aged, oak aged bottlings of malt mill. But that was a distillery within a distillery, wasn't it? From memory, that was.
At the time it was just built alongside now. I mean, the old distillery buildings have now been absorbed into the greater Lagavulin complex. As James said, it was just an attempt to replicate what they were already making. Yeah,
right. Yeah, I know of the malt mill example. There were other examples of distilleries within distilleries, though, weren't there? Where they sort of set up.
Absolutely. I mean, the classic, the Lohmann stills that got installed at a few distilleries around the joint. The other classic one is the big Dumbarton. Dumbarton was a grain distillery, and it actually had was it 1 or 2 malt distilleries inside it with Glenflagler and Killylock.
Killylock? I'm not sure. I know Glenflagler was. I couldn't remember the second one either, but for the life of me. But that was also used as a brand.
If we were genuinely in the pub at the moment, we'd be suggesting these things, and someone would get their phone out and look at Google and see who was right as part of pub trivia. But anyway,
or someone would look at their phone and go, "You're not talking about footy scores, so shut up! Like, just stop talking nonsense." Google says 1962. Okay, well, Andrew was right. It's 1960s. Yeah, I thought it was earlier than that, but okay. Built 1908, closed 62. That's a fair stint. So there's definitely mature examples out and about. Probably squirreled away into collections. Anyway, this has been a fantastic example of an older whiskey coming along. If you've been part of the, if you've got the pack tonight, if you're joining along with the pack, I've lost my little sheet for it, but that's okay. It's the virtual pub tasting kit, and we're on the second dram at the moment, which is the 38, and it's been wonderful to have you on, Andrew. I'm going to bring up our chat overlay again because that's where I missed it. There we go. Fantastic. I'm so glad that members are able to enjoy this whiskey with us, and we're at the pub enjoying a few whiskeys. What virtual pub's all about. Any last remarks?
Mate, well done. Fantastic night. It's been great to see bits and pieces of it. And to all members watching, hope you're well. Hope you're safe. Look forward to what the Society's got coming out in the next couple of months. We've just got September, October, and November outturns in the chamber ready to go. There's some real exciting stuff coming along. Be nice to hopefully have some live events, but we've obviously got to watch that. So watch this space. But right now, it's been a fantastic virtual pub. Thank you so much, Matt.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Andrew. Look, there's the cover for September outturn. That is, of course, next Friday is a release of that, Friday the 3rd of September. It's already in your inbox. It's on our website. It's all around the place. We've got a whole cask of 1.244. Andrew, actually, can you just quickly touch on that? You sort of helped with that process as that cask cellar master.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. So that's our gathering cask. We were given the chance to throw a hat in the ring for, I think there were about 10 different casks at the time from memory. And we were told to nominate our preferred 3 or 4. And I did a little bit of, let's just say, gentle lobbying behind the scenes, and worked pretty hard to not have to, in fact, nominate our preferred 3 or 4, but instead just nominated the one that I really wanted. And you know, most people who know me know my favourite distillery, and won't be surprised when we found out that distillery number 1 was our gathering cask. So that was a good bit of work in the background.
And your favourite distillery is the one that it all started with at the Society. How exciting is that as well?
Absolutely. That's just lucky coincidence, but there you go.
Andrew, thank you so much for coming along tonight, dropping into the pub. We're going to, great comments. Always love seeing the big tasting notes. Look at that. Unbelievable. I'm going to leave that up on screen for a moment. Roasted pineapples, hint of worn skateboard wheels. That's a tasting note I don't think I've ever seen in a whiskey before.
Yeah, I disagree with that. I'm getting fresh skateboard wheels myself, but, you know, we're all different.
Yeah. Can we please specify diameter of the wheels as well? Raw sugar in a cup of English breakfast tea, or apricots and brown glass. Just the smell of brown glass. I think I know what you mean by that. Humming circuit boards, drizzle and honey. These notes are great. Darren Howie says, great work, AD. Thank you so much, Darren. Great to have you on, Andrew. Look, we're gonna head back over to Julian James, who's up for his second set, to play some music for us for Virtual Pub. Andrew, we'll see you soon. Thank you very much.
Well done, mate. Bye for now. Cheers.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, Julian James, I'm going to bring him back in, and here we go.
Beautiful. Thanks for having me back.
Absolutely.
25-year-old. That Lust for Must was a cracker. It's I've got some friends here watching me, and I tell you what, it's hard to share a sampling bottle between 4 people, but we managed it.
You managed it. I'm going to leave the chat thread up, but I'm going to get you back on the big screen. Here we go.
No worries. All right, this is an old song. It was written in 1941. It's a song called Tennessee Waltz. So I hope you enjoy. I was dancing with my baby, the Tennessee Waltz, when an old friend I happened to see. I introduced him to my lover, and while they were dancing, my friend stole my sweetheart from me. I remember the night and the Tennessee Waltz. Only you know how much I have lost. Well, I lost my little darling the night they were playing that beautiful Tennessee Waltz. I remember the night and that Tennessee Waltz. Only you know how much I have lost. Well, I lost my little darling the night they were playing that beautiful Tennessee Waltz. that beautiful Tennessee wolf, that beautiful Tennessee whoa. All right. Well, this next song is off my second album there, Silver Spade. It's a song actually called Empty Bottle Blues, and I'm sure everybody at the Society has come across this when you finish the last little bit of your bottle. And I wrote this song about that. It's always... Sorry, I keep looking over here because my screen's over here, but I know you guys are over there, so I'll try and face this way. Hope you enjoy. Third of the devil couldn't keep me down, no. Third of the devil couldn't keep me down. Couldn't keep me down. Couldn't keep me down. Sold my soul to a traveling man. Steady eyes and shaky hands. Sold my soul to that traveling man. Empty bottle blues takes away my soul. Preacher's on the phone. He's asking where did all that holy water go? My head is spinning and my body aches, knocking at them holy gates. I'm just knocking at them holy gates. My mind is made of memory. I'm here sweating in my sheets. I'm here sweating in my sheets. Empty bottle blues takes away my soul. Preacher's on the phone. He's asking where did all that holy water go? Empty bottle blues takes away my soul. Preacher's on the phone. He's asking where did all that holy water go? Where did all that holy water go? Where did all that holy water go? All right. Now this I wanted to do this this next song and slow it down a little bit after that. This is written by a guy called Lucas Nelson. He's actually Willie Nelson's son. It's a song called Turn Off the News. And I think, it's really when we were down in lockdown, I think some of my worst days is when I was so far down that news rabbit hole. And it's just so negative out there at the moment. You have to keep in touch and you have to know what's going on. But I think it's really important to detox off the news because it just gets in there. It's like a worm. So anyway, this is a song called Turn Off the News. I hope you enjoy. Well, I believe that every heart is kind. Some are just a little underused. Hatred is a symptom of the times. Stuck in these uneducated blues. But I just want to love you like I can. But But all these other thoughts have me confused. I don't need to try to understand. Maybe I'll turn off that bloody news. Turn off the news and build a garden, just my neighborhood and me. We might feel a little less hardened, and we might feel a bit more free. Turn off the news and raise your kids. Give them something to believe in. Teach them how to be good people. Give them hope that they can see. Hope that they can see. Turn off the news and build a garden with me. Trust builds trust. All that negativity's a bust. Trust builds trust. And don't you want to be happy? Turn off the news and build a garden, just my neighborhood and me. We might feel a little less hardened, and we might feel a bit more free. Turn off the news and raise your kids, and give them something to believe in. Teach them how to be good people, and give them hope that they can see. Hope that they can see. Turn off the news and build a garden with me. Turn off the news and build a garden with me. All right, this next song, yeah, I'll just keep going until Matt kicks me off, I think. Thanks again, Matt, for having me on the show. The offer to come on the show came in just when I had cancelled about 3 or 4 shows, so it was actually a really nice thing to happen. So, and these whiskeys are beautiful, and it's such a beautiful thing to be a part of. So, thanks again. There's a song of mine called Mr. Devil. I wrote this in sort of memory of Dutch Tilders. I was quite drunk on some. Before I moved into my van, I had about 15 bottles of whiskey. I used to spend about $400 to $500 on whiskey every month. So, and when I moved in my van, I didn't have enough room for that collection, so I had to drink it all. You know, it was such a shame. But I was sitting on this beach and I was fishing, and I was quite drunk on, I think it was a special single. What was it? Special reserve. I've forgotten what it was. It was really good whiskey. Anyway, and I wanted to write a song for tribute to Dutch Tilders, and this is a song I came up with. It's called Mr. Devil. So I hope you enjoy it. Well, the stars are shining, the moon is coming out for sure. Well, the stars are shining, the moon is coming out for sure. Well, the clock strikes midnight, I hear a faint knock on my back door. Well, hello, Mr. Devil, oh baby, won't you just come right on in? Devil, oh, won't you just come right on in now? I got a pocket full of whiskey, a table load of sin. Come on, Mr. Devil. Well, my baby's gone left me for some old-fashioned backdoor man. Well, my baby's gone left me for some old-fashioned backdoor man. So tell me, Mr. Devil, what's a boy got to do with a shaky gun hand? I said, hello, Mr. Devil, oh, baby, won't you come right on in? Well, hello, Mr. Devil, oh, baby, just come right on in. A pocket full of whiskey. I got a pocket full of whiskey. I got a pocket full of whiskey. Table load of sin. All right. I'm trying to think. I was trying to think before of some whiskey songs. And yes, it was. You know it's good whiskey. That's probably my favorite comment. You know it's good whiskey when you can't even remember what the name was. I'm pretty sure it was no, still not there. It was a 60% one. It was a single cast. It doesn't matter. Well, it does matter because I'm talking to a bloody whiskey society, but no pressure. Anyway, let's keep going. This next song is I wrote this. I was coming down the old Bruce Highway in Australia, and there's this beautiful little camping spot called Funnel Creek, and we stayed there for about 3 days. And it's got these big paperbark trees that go over the water hole there. And as we were leaving, we found out there was a lot of murders there, but we found that out as we were leaving. But before that, it was beautiful. So, and it's amazing how in nature you can sit there and everything can be really peaceful and it be quite tranquil. And then you look around and everything's either trying to kill something, or if you look closely, everything's trying to kill something or mate. They're trying to mate with something. So I wrote this song. It's a song of mine called Paperbark. It's going to be out probably on the next album. This is only about a month old, but I hope you guys enjoy it here tonight from your lounge room or wherever you guys are hanging out. Here we go. Water shimmers as it speaks, holding breath behind closed cheeks, where your senses can't be tamed. I'll see you in purgatory, sipping the breeze of a paperbark tree, and peace and anarchy feel the same. Take my tainted hands and ascend the whispers of men as we yell sparks at the flame. The flame. Oh, oh, oh. pray for harmony underneath the paper bark tree. The landing of the crow stays the same. And war is always won by the one with the biggest gun. The winner seems to bear the shame. So take my tainted hand and ascend the whispers of men as we yell sparks at the flame. All right. This next song is the title track of my next album. So this is a song called Deviltown. I think this might be the last one. I don't know. Matt's got to let me know, but we'll see how we go. There is an awesome, if you get a chance, if you like the old Betty Boop style animations, you should check it out. I worked with this awesome studio in London called Studio Goblin, and Deviltown, if you just type that in, Julian James, Deviltown, and you get to see it. It's pretty cool. We did that all through lockdown, so here we go. Whoa, 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 whoa. Saw a little angel on the side of the road, and I kept on driving because I was not sold, oh no, in this devil's town. Well, her eyes were black and her hair was sweet, and I knew that I could not compete, oh no, in this devil's town. Won't you take me home from this devil's town? What more am I gonna do? That devil is on the loose. Won't you wipe away that frown and take me home from this devil's town? Whoa, whoa, Saw a little devil on the side of the road. She said, come with me and I'll loosen your load. Oh no, in this devil's town. Well, her eyes were black and her hair was fair, and she looked through my soul with a glazed out stare. Oh no, in this devil's town. Won't you take me home from this devil's town? What more am I gonna do? That devil is on the loose. Won't you wipe away that frown and take me from this Deviltown. Oh, oh, oh,
Amazing. Amazing. How good is this guy? Julian, you've absolutely set the tone for Virtual Pub. I think I speak on behalf of all of our members. Everyone tuned in tonight. Thank you so much for such an amazing 2 sets of just incredible repertoire. So thank you so much.
No worries. Thanks very much for having me.
Julian, James, everyone, please check him out. That's seriously, what an amazing sound. Thank you so much. I think, like I said, you set the tone for Virtual Pub. It's been great having you on. We'll catch up soon, I hope.
Sounds good. Hopefully we can catch up for a whiskey.
Oh, and drams are on me, please. When the borders are all done, the drinks are on me. Absolutely. Thank you so much. There's so many great comments coming through. Absolutely, just the feedback has been overwhelming. So thank you so much. We'll see you all soon.
Cheers.
Ladies and gentlemen, Julian James, what a legend. What a legend. He really did set the tone for Virtual Pub. Perfect tone for the night. Absolutely. And yes, lots of people saying, thanks, Julian. Great stuff. You've definitely got some new fans tonight. I would thoroughly agree with that. I'm going to bring in our next special guest as Virtual Pub continues. We've hit the 2-hour mark, well and truly. We're not quite onto that third dram yet because for reasons, technical reasons and scheduling reasons I won't go into just yet. But you know what? If you want to crack it, you can. We're going to have a chat with we've got 2 more special guests just to jump in as we head into the sort of the third hour of Virtual Pub. I really appreciate you all hanging on for the moment as well. I hope you're having a fantastic Saturday night at the pub with us. And this Virtual Pub, like I started by saying, this is all about bringing members together, having a good time, and joining in the community that is the SMWS. It's so good to see so many members joining in. You can have the pack drams. You don't have to have these. You enjoy this how you like. In fact, even without these pack drams, take a photo of your setup. Hashtag VirtualPub21 is the hashtag to use for tonight. Even if you're having a sample of your own society whiskey at home, this is a great opportunity tonight to open something special and enjoy it. That's what whiskey's meant for. And you know what? In these strange and uncertain times, there's never been a better time to open something rather special. I'm going to bring in Damien Cosbeckwith for a quick chat. Damien is no stranger to the stream, however. He runs the 18th Amendment bar in Geelong and Ballarat, our 2 regional partner bars in Victoria that do a cracking job of representing the society as partner bars. I want to bring Damien in just real quick now, have a quick chat with us, and we're going to go from here. So really appreciate it. Like I said, take photos of you enjoying a society dram tonight. The best photo is going to win. You know what? I actually changed it a little bit. I said the best photo is going to win a $50 voucher. That doesn't really sort of do it justice, I thought. I've changed it up a little bit for tonight. A lot of good photos coming in. The best photo actually tonight is going to win something a little bit more substantial. And I'm going to announce that now once I work out my little photos here. The best photo tonight of the home setup going on tonight is actually going to take home instead. It's going to take home a society tasting kit. This one here, the full society tasting membership kit. I'm going to give one of them away to someone who posts the photo. Hashtag VirtualPub21. Enjoy, become part of it. Tag the society SMWS_AUS on Instagram. Put it onto our Facebook group. These packs are worth $299. It was going to be $50 to begin with on the site. I think we could do a lot better than that. So best photo wins, and by best, I mean I'm just going to pick one out. I'm going to say, you know what, that's a really cool looking photo, and it's it's great to see people enjoying their whiskey at home and being a part of the pub. So you know what, that's where we're headed with that one. Throw it up online. I'd love to see how we go. Damien Cosbeckwith, 18th Amendment. Welcome to the stream. Thank you so much. Here he is. Hi.
There we go.
I got standing up.
Sorry, let me just check in with the QR code. Just gotta join.
Oh yeah, good. Yep. No, let me just do it now. Yep, good. Okay, checked in. Good. Okay, we're good. We're good to go. Excellent. Well, looking
nice and relaxed.
Dapper, mate. How are you?
Thank you. Yeah, look, any opportunity to get dressed up while we're in lockdown, and there's definitely some trackies for comfort down below, so we're set to go.
Some comments coming in saying laptop battery died with no warning, virtual pub problems. And someone saying here, Paul McAllister, we were at 18th Amendment in Ballarat in between lockdowns. Great vibe, great staff. Boom. Look at that. Immediate feedback. Great to see. Like, this is, and of course, someone with a, who you might know here, commenting, who invited this dag on the screen there? Caitlin throwing some shade. I like to see this. This is good. And Matt, where's your tie? I bring a society hoodie tonight because I'm at the pub. I didn't dress up for the pub. I'm at the Saturday night pub. Maybe I should have worn a tie. Damien, you've outdone me. How are you going, mate?
Yeah, very well. Very well. Just getting through it as we can, and making some plans, using this time to make some plans towards the future, and as well as much as we can plan, but also working pretty hard on some team training, and we're sort of virtually meeting every couple of nights to do some online tasting and training, and sort of improve our I suppose just improve ourselves as a venue, and do whatever we can in the times we've got.
You know, I always knew of 18th Amendment Geelong. I just didn't know the bar that well. And then it was, and then when you guys took over in Ballarat from the Lost Ones, which was one of our partner bars, and I was so excited. I was like, I knew you guys from sort of like from afar as being like incredible operators. And I was like, when I heard that, I was like, this is going to take this bar that sort of, it was doing okay, but it's going to sort of elevate this sort of the staff training and overall whiskey knowledge and I guess experience for members into that next realm. And I was excited by that.
Yeah, definitely. We just all happened to sort of, I suppose, fall into our lap with joining society. It's something that George and I had spoken about previously to even purchasing the Ballarat venue. And if anyone that's been to the Ballarat venue, it's got a beautiful entry. It's quite a sort of a very speakeasy 1920s vibe, that sort of hidden down an alleyway and then into the venue. And we sort of fell in love with the venue before even walking in. And so after purchasing it, finding out that they were already a partner bar was just phenomenal. And then having that contact with you and being able to join up with Geelong has been excellent. And the whiskies are getting absolutely smashed at both venues, but especially in Geelong where they're quite fresh and new. We've already turned over and killed a few bottles, and which is great to see, and it sort of spurs us on spurs us on to have the confidence to buy more. And we're sitting at I didn't do a count today, but there'd be nine or so whiskies in Geelong, and every outturn we're growing that, and Ballarat would be very much the same, and we're definitely trying to share bottles around through the venues, and we might go through half a bottle in one venue and then take that to Ballarat to try and share the love down there as well, which is great to be able to do. Yeah,
awesome. And that's, I mean, you say sort of sharing the love a bit, which is you're probably referencing one bottling in particular that we were able to send you. For those wondering, yes, they did get some 147.1, our first ever Australian whiskey. So, but you also picked up a few other goodies recently, which you're holding on to for a while. Is that right?
Definitely. So as a bit of a thank you to the members that have supported us, but are also going to support us in the future, we've grabbed a few older bottlings, and the theory with that is when we can finally hold a SMWS event live sort of in venue, we're going to offer those up for pretty much cost price for anyone that didn't get a chance to jump onto those bottles. And
break even bottle is like
again, virtually a break even bottle, and it's just something that we want to do. It's for us, whiskey is a passion, a hobby, and as much as cocktails are, because we're probably a cocktail bar, but whiskey's as close to our passion as it can be. And to be able to buy a bottle no one's going to see again and share it around is up there with what we want to do.
Very cool. And you got and you guys have got there is a great base of members in Geelong and Ballarat. I'd say it's more in Geelong. It's a bigger city, but it's great to see even Melbourne, or if not even members from all around Australia who make the effort to almost have, like, at the moment we call them staycations, because you can't really sort of, vacation sounds a bit grandiose term during a lockdown, but I mean, having these staycations, an opportunity to actually get to these venues and actually and meet the staff. By the way, I just have to mention, you have an incredible team at both venues, and me getting to know some of the Geelong staff as well has been really good.
Yeah, definitely. We're absolutely blessed and honoured, and George and I always say that we can have as many bottles on the back bar as we do have, but the team and the family we have there is the key to our success, and that's why we've been, have done really well in the past, and it was great to have you in and give them some training, because a lot of them love their whiskey, but to be able to meet you and learn about the society is something that they've had a chance to do before, so that was great.
Yeah, as I said, we pride ourselves at the society on being on educating on whiskey in general, not just about single cask. I mean, it's about that sort of appreciation of whiskey, and I think that's something we like to pass on to your staff, and I think it's great to see that growth of the even as the whole scene. It's really worth remarking that I mentioned it on stream earlier with Andrew about that whole sort of how you'd walk into a bar even in a capital city just maybe a decade ago, and you might find Glenfiddich 12 on Lefroy 10, and that's it. And now, I mean, the fact that we can even have a sustainable partner bar in Geelong and Ballarat is something in and of itself of an achievement. Yeah,
absolutely. It's buying bottles can always be a risk, but we've already been rewarded with the patronage of some members, and we always try and reach out and look after them as well when they visit. Which is always nice. It's that sort of friendship and that relationship with people that we already know. As soon as they come in and start talking about the society, it gets us excited, because we know that they're keen and they're passionate, and we always have a look over on the shelf to see what's close to being a bottle kill, and make sure we mention it for them.
Yeah, awesome. Well, Damien, look, I really appreciate you coming along for Virtual Pub tonight. This has been a great opportunity just to have a quick chat, see what you're up to. Really, thank you so much again for being such an amazing partner bar of the Scotch Malt Whisky Society. If I get a shout out in the chat from our members for Damien, because what these guys are doing in representing single cask, full flavored, and the membership base of the society is so exciting to see. So thank you again, Damien. We really appreciate it. We love you guys as a partner bar. We love you guys as people. This is just what that journey is all about. So happy Virtual Pub.
Thank you. I've been here the whole time and been enjoying it with a couple of drams myself. So thank you very much for putting this on. And it's a great way to spend a Saturday night when we can't be out and about. Exactly. Yeah. Thank you so much. We'll see you soon. Definitely. Damien Cosbeckwith, folks, what a legend. Seriously, what a lovely guy. 18th Amendment Bar in Geelong and Ballarat are both partner bars of the Scotch Malt Whisky Society in Victoria. Really appreciate Damien for coming on for the chat and having a chat with us about what he's up to, what they're looking at, and where they're going. I mean, it's so exciting. And like I said, that's the level of training and the level of expertise and just the enthusiasm for everything that society represents as a club is extremely exciting for us. Again, I am giving away this pack. I'm going to mention it again and again. I'm giving away this pack. You know what? Beto wins. Throw it up in our socials. #VirtualPub21. You might think your photo is terrible. We don't think that. We think the most inventive and interesting photo might win. For the last dram tonight in the pack, for those who have the pack and are playing along at home, is 89.14 Omelette Surprise. To talk through this dram with me tonight, I'm going to invite our last special guest on for the night, Matt Waller from Dram Nation. Now, Matt is often, he and I are old friends. He and I have collaborated on a number of tastings. He's presented the society separately. I've talked about Dram Nation separately in my tastings, and we like to see it as growing the pie and growing the interest of single malt and whiskey appreciation, I should say, and sometimes even bourbon appreciation. Heaven forbid, as a category of whiskey. To taste through cask number 89.14 Omelette Surprise, I'm going to invite Matt Waller into the stream. Let's see how technology works for us this time. Boom. Look at that. Hey.
Boom. Here I am.
Here it
Awesome.
works. We're both flanked by the Waltz, and we're good to go. We're good to rumble.
Yeah, I've well, I'm not a little bit late. I was here on time, as in 9 o'clock, but I've been running a tasting myself since 7 o'clock, and 3 society whiskies within that just in itself. So I haven't been able to tune into any of the live music or anything like that yet because I've been busy doing my own gear. But certainly, this is not my first society whiskey for tonight at all. But let me pour some of this out.
Now, I picked this one out for the virtual pack because it's good to finish on a peated whiskey, first of all, and second of all, it's such a weird and interesting peated whiskey. It's such a weird whiskey. There was a comment here from Andrew Petrino. Andrew, by the way, you've been watching, I think, all night, and you've posted some great photos as well. So big ups to Andrew, who says, "I'm not surprised. Grease Center Mechanics Workshop on the nose, sweet and smoky bacon on the palate, packs a punch." You know what? That's just talking about like society whiskeys for a second. That's kind of the whole idea, is that they have these interesting, often like out of sync flavors. First of all, you would never associate peated whiskey with this distillery, and second of all, you would it's a mainland peated whiskey. It's not an Islay peated whiskey, and there's a lot of complexity for what is a 10-year-old second fill Oloroso. So it's a sherried peated whiskey.
That peat is way in the background, though. It's not peat is a facet of this. It is definitely, like, even though you're using the term peated, if you were to put this under my nose without seeing the color, I wouldn't say it was a peated whiskey necessarily. I would be looking at all these other profiles that are going on. I'm get like sorry, my palate. Not that my palate's shot, but I need to profile here.
It does.
What is it? 60.3. See, I made French toast for breakfast this morning, and I am getting like egg French toast, eggy custard, or like eggy custard or Portuguese egg tarts, and I'm getting French toast and cinnamon. But it's got a really it's got a little bit of a grease, like an engine grease element about it as well. What was that? That was a note someone just mentioned, wasn't it? So that's from sorry, go on.
Yeah, it's a mainland Scotch whiskey distillery that traditionally does not do peated runs, and it is an ex-Oloroso whiskey as well. So it's sherried peated mainland whiskey. So I mean, straight away your senses go sort of a bit wild here. Some great comments coming through. Just by the way, Robert Akers says Wooler Sands hat.
I can get one.
No. It's all right. We're so infrequently.
Do you need? I can wear a fez. You want a fez?
No. You've got a fez. You can wear a fez if you want. Andrew Petrino, thumbs up, absolutely. The previous dram, Lust for Must, 38.29, goes exceptionally well with chicken liver pate. Oh, that would be quite a treat. I had some duck pate recently, about two or 3 days ago. That was unbelievable. But I reckon some chicken liver pate would go well with that. James Caden, who actually bought a bottle of this, I think, says it really is sweetness at the front, party at the back kind of whiskey. So it's a mullet whiskey. Yeah, it's a whiskey mullet. Someone
whiskey mullet.
Yeah, business up front, party at the back kind of thing going on. I think there's a lot of people who have mullets at the moment. You know, we're all sort of stuck with that haircuts at the moment. So maybe mullets are coming back.
I'm just trying a few different things because I've had a whole lot of food on tonight with the tasting that I've been doing. So I've still got a little bit left over. And I'm just trying with some beef jerky because I reckon some beef jerky might work.
I'm going to bring it up on a bigger picture here.
Bigger picture?
There we go. Show us what we got here. Yeah, awesome. Okay.
Actually, that works not too bad. Maybe some raisins. Just seeing, but these were all fiddled around with for the other things. So I haven't even tasted the other ones yet. But these guys, so I don't know whether we can even mention the distillery, which we normally don't do.
No.
But these guys are famous for, of all things, bottling the world's biggest or the biggest bottle of whiskey at 105 liters. You know, 105 liter, 14-year-old whiskey. Who bought it? Who knows? Who drank it? Who knows? How big was the cork? Ridiculous, I'm sure. I'd love to see a photo of this. But this is also a distillery that when Matt asked me to have a taste of it, talk about it a little bit. So it's Tom and Tool Distillery. There it is. Look at that. Is there a cork in that? That's the question. I just all I care about is the cork. Someone going, look at the color of it.
I mean, there's a cork in there. I mean, it's a big bottle. I mean, that's a normal sized human standing next to it there.
Yeah, a normal sized human.
So, it's a big bottle. So there we go.
But this is very weird. This flavor is continually. I've got to continually go back and taste this. Now, it worked very well with the raisins, I must say. But
yeah, I mean, it's
yeah. It's got a really bright front. It's really sprightly in the front. It's a little bit of that. There's a little bit of that old cardboard box and varnish in the front, but it picks up really well.
It's an unpeated spirit. I should also it's some comments coming through saying, is it peated as well as being an ex-Isla cask? No, it is an unpeated spirit, but it is from an ex-peated cask. That's right. So it's an ex-peated Oloroso cask. And great comment that I had on screen before from Murray Hassan. By the way, big ups to Big Muzz, the absolute legend that he is. The bookiest nerd, whiskey book nerd I know, and I've got some new whiskey books I want to show him actually. Well, I won't do that on this tonight's stream. But this is and James said, yes, so happy I grabbed a bottle, get some good biltong mat and dip it in Octomore. That's an idea. You could do that, or you could pick any society whiskey. There you go. The only
I'm going to dip some of that in here.
And someone's saying here that the 105 liters, that would be
that's awful. That is terrible. Don't do that.
105 liters, that would be an epic bottle kill. And a great comment here from Andrew Moat that says it would take you a while to get through the neck pores. So every time someone says, the neck pour isn't very good on a whiskey bottle, I think the neck pour would be about 7 liters of whiskey. So that's one of my favorite comments of the night. Would be a great idea for distilleries to display their failed experiments so they aren't quite as big a failure. I mean, failed experiments. I don't know what you mean by that, Jesse. I mean, there's certainly distilleries would always have like projects and releases that don't quite hit the mark, and that's usually for commercial reasons, not because of taste reasons, but that's okay. For those playing along at home, we're on 89.14 Omelette Surprise, our third and final dram for Virtual Pub tonight, as we've been sitting at the pub having a few drams. So, Wooler, tell me some more. Tell you some more about what I'm tasting, or the distillery. No,
actually, I was actually surprised with the distillery when I looked into it, because that's what I was saying earlier. Tom and Tool, I don't recall ever seeing these bottles on the shelves here. I don't think it's very common here in Australia. It's probably really common in the UK, because they release something like about 6 or 7 different expressions, and they've got a second brand that they release there as well. A lot of it goes into blending. I can't remember who the blending is, but they do something like 3.3 million liters a year of spirit.
That's pretty big. I mean, yeah. I mean, that would put them in sort of a mid-range Scotch whiskey distillery, as in not quite sort of Glenfiddich style, but not quite Edgedour, as in a mid-sized distillery, and yet we see so little of it as a single malt, which is a really good comment, because that comment before about distilleries to show their failed experiments, as Murray says, most of them are, he said here, experiments that don't work are either blended away or experimented with further. They would sell a lot of this spirit to blenders. We were lucky to pick up a couple of casks, 89.14, 14th cask ever in the society's history. So very few and far between for that code. I think
so.
Things could be the first 81 I've ever had.
Are we talking Lefroy casks here? What are we talking? Do you know what the ex-peated cask is? Oloroso. It's got to be something like, yeah.
I couldn't tell you which distillery. I think that might do it a disservice as well.
Is that, and here's a question, because it's, so that means that this would be a cask potentially that has come from another society bottling?
Indeed.
All right. So just going through that, just trying to put it together in my head, what the potentials are, because obviously they could go and buy just the cask and go and fill it with the stuff. But they're using reusing the casks that are already got. Is that something in the level of volume that is being produced now by society that they're
We've had that a few times. I mean, we've seen we've seen casks. We've seen a number of casks actually where we even specify in the tasting notes. In fact, I think some people have actually already found out for me here. 29.258. There you go. Sorry, it was X Distillery 29. I should have done more research on this before tasting it. This was X Society Distillery number 29, so a very well-known Isla distillery, of which I won't say the name. But this was an X Oloroso 29 that was then extra matured this 89. I think it's really exciting. Remembrance of Fruits Past was the name of it seems. In fact, here's a good comment from Jesse Morgan. For example, a Melbourne distillery had an experiment which, in their own words, became a little too balsamic and never saw release. If they took that and put it in a giant bottle, no waste. Yeah, you know what? We don't actually know what's in that giant bottle of Tom and Tool. And I think the less we know, the better, because it could be anything in there. It could just be sort of colored water at this point, or tea. I don't even know who that bloke is. Sorry, by the way. I just thought it's just a photo of a dude standing with that massive bottle. But we've used a number of casks at the society to get back to your question, Matt. We've used a number of casks at the society to extra mature. So ex-society casks maturing ex-society whiskies. There was a recent release. Well, I mean, even the Whiskey and Almond Pirate's Breakfast Juice was XR8.5, I think, or R8.3. So it was XR8. It was an ex-rum cask, Distillery 72. That was from an ex-society rum cask, and I think that's really exciting. Great tasting notes from Andrew Moat. I'm getting a bit of green chartreuse before the peat hits. Texture is thin, but has a little diluted hand slipperiness to it, like when you've rinsed your hands, but missed a bit. I like that. That's a very specific tasting of it, but I really like it.
I'm going to try some of this 100.24 because I missed it all earlier. So I'm just trying another one while we're talking because I'm going to catch up.
Some great comments coming through as well. Some wonderful Tom and Tool single casks by Cadenheads and other smaller brands. A pity it's not released as a brand, as a single cask brand. Look, I mean, most of these distilleries don't have the sort of capacity. They have such sort of already rigorous sort of blending structures for their casks of where they go and which blenders they sell to and whatnot. And really, I mean, there is a core range brand of this distillery of Tom and Tool, but you just don't see it. I mean, it's not really out and about. And one could also then, the third point would be to argue that maybe it had missed the mark. Maybe it's single casks like this, sort of fascinating and interesting, that actually carry that character of the distillery, not just a core range. And comparing society single casks to core range whiskey is a little bit
it's pointless exercise.
It's pointless. It's pointless. It doesn't make any sense. They're so far removed from the house style. You're drinking something here that is a 10-year-old X29 cask Oloroso peated cask spirit. I mean, it's going to be completely incomparable to anything from a core range of that. So yeah.
That's the same thing I was talking to these guys tonight about with the society. It's like they're trying society for the first time and they're asking, where can I get this from? And I'm like, well, you can't get it anywhere because the cask is already defunct or it's gone, it's sold. You'll never taste it again. And even if you found this code, the distillery code, and it might be the following number, it is going to taste nothing like the previous one. If you went out and you found the core range that relates to that code, it's going to taste nothing like that whatsoever. Here they are taking 50, 100 casks, blending them together to get a profile, a flat, even profile, and here's society that just pulls out one and goes, that's the one. Whereas they're blending them in to even it and flatten it. And here we are trying to actually pull out all the pointy bits and say that's what we want. So you can't compare them. You can't in any
how hard
way.
Is it to compare any single cask to any core release? It's a pointless exercise, Darren. It doesn't make any sense. I mean, we've done we've had unpeated 29s and we've had heavily peated 89s and we've had. I mean, even just on peating profile alone, it doesn't make sense. And on cask profile and selection criteria and panel management, it doesn't make sense. So, but it's interesting to do. I do love doing it. I love doing distillery verticals where you taste like, the 10, the 12, and the 18 from a from a distillery. And then you might taste like an 11, 14, and 19 independently bottled spirit from that. That's almost like the perfect lineup. Sometimes you get to dissect the distillery character, but it doesn't make sense to compare in some ways. There's some great comments coming through, which very aptly says Tom & Tool's owners are a relatively small company who also own Glencadam, Angus Dundee, for those playing along at home. Could account for their limited exports here. We've got a great relationship with Dundee, which is why we've seen some great 82s coming through, and now 89 as well. But we'll see. We'll see. They're very, very small. Like, they're a small company, really, when it comes down to it, and most of it is for their own malts or blends. And Darren does say, yes, you are right, Darren. The incredible thing here is there are more amazing casks coming every month. This is what SWS is about. We release at least 14 to 20 different single casks every single month of the year. There's always something to explore. It might be a really weird peated whiskey. This is weird. This is a weird whiskey. Would you agree this is a weird whiskey?
It really is.
It's bipolar in a way. Yeah, but I love it. I love it. And it's kind of an exciting adventure, but that's the thing. It's like there's so many new releases every month. Unpeated 29 time more. We've had some very low peated, at least on 29. We've had some weird spirit coming through from them in the past. But by the way, keep an eye on that 29 in the September outturn. The Holy Smoke is actually picked up best in show at the one of the San Fran Awards. It's an incredible 29, that one.
This actually probably brings me to a query, because I know some of the answer to it, but it's always good to talk about a little bit more. Is the terminology calling this a peated whiskey even correct to begin with? I mean, it's seeing a cask that's had peated with it, but is it in the levels of society profiles? This could easily fit into one of the other ones without needing to talk about peat necessarily, if you want to.
Yeah. Okay. Well, on that point, we do put this in the lightly peated flavor profile. It is lightly peated. It's not a peated whiskey. It's not a heavily peated whiskey. We put it in lightly peated for a good reason, because it's like the flavor profile represents
peat flavors.
The flavor.
Yeah.
It doesn't it could be this is an unpeated spirit in the peated profile.
Yep.
Just as we've had refill bourbon barrels in the deep, rich, and dried fruits, and we've had first fill Oloroso barrels in young and sprightly. It's about the flavor, not about the cask type or the age or anything or peating levels. It's just about the flavor. I think that's a fun whiskey.
And so does it? It's talking about. Well, this is more terminology, how you come at the term peated, as opposed to actually talking about it being peated. Peated as a profile, as opposed to peated as a whiskey. Does that offer more range for society to get more profiles, to add more profiles to the current kaleidoscope that already exists?
I mean, there's a bit of a flavor profile review going on at the moment, which is very topical, but it's because it's like we're looking at how the flavor profiles represent. But I don't think there's not going to be any more than 12. We're going to stick with the 12 we've got. But I think it's a really good guide, though, the flavor profiles, to say like where it's like a starting point. It's like if you like your whiskey, like I love lightly peated whiskeys. This is why lightly peated and oily and coastal for me are like two banging flavor profiles for me. Like I always keep an eye out for those, especially mainland lightly peated 66s, as we've talked about before. Like they're unbelievable. Like it's you pass up a 66 at your own peril, honestly. Things like that. Whereas like I think that's they're not going to change on that too much on that side, but it's obviously had Isla Peat reference. Some people are saying here it's a comment coming through saying I think we almost shouldn't call this a peated whiskey. It's not a peated whiskey. It's a lightly peated flavor profile. I should have said that right.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, it's how you approach these wordings that is actually what I think. It's probably because for so long we talk about peated whiskeys being malt that has peat burnt in order to give it the flavor, but this is not peating. This is not direct peating. This is an indirect flavor influence.
Yeah,
but even peating, it's just the flavor influence. That's really what it is.
It's a flavor. I mean, whether it's been used peat or not, There's a great comment here from Paul Michael Leyland, who says, when I taste salt, I put that down as peat. I think it depends on how that spirit's been made. I mean, this is an unpeated spirit that's had extra maturation in a peated cask. It's an ex-Lafroig, X29, whatever, cask that's influenced this spirit. And I think that's really exciting. I mean, that's a great question here. Is this so not a peated whiskey, but a peated cask aged whiskey? Yes. We are flavor trailblazers. That's what the society is about, is finding these incredible flavors. It's Ewan Campbell in the team in the UK saying, hey, what happens if we put this spirit in this X29 cask and see what it does for 2 years in an X sherry cask? And that's what this has done. I think it's exciting. Why? Like, rather than saying, well, it has to be 10 years old or it has to be 12 years old. It's about the profile. It's about the flavor.
And what did it have? Hang on. So this is a 10-year-old. How long was it? 3 years? Was it 3 years in the second cask?
Yeah, it was 7 + 3. This one, it was a 7 + 3.
Okay,
yes.
So that's why it isn't classified a finish anymore. It's classified
extra maturation
over 3. Yeah, extra maturation because it's over 3 years. So anything now under 3 years is finish. Is that correct?
That's right.
That's the way it works.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, that's what we use as terminology, but I think that's what the industry really should adopt, because it's 3 years to call something Scotch whiskey. So under 3 is a finish. Over 3 or over is an extra maturation. It's a whole extra maturation period on top. Finishing is an art form. I think people often finishing an extra maturation is an art form. It's a bit like blending. You can overdo it, you can underdo it. And I think if it's done right, it can be fantastic. And I think people often unfairly malign finishing. They think, oh, I prefer only full maturation whiskey. No, you're missing out on some absolute gems if you do that. I mean, finishing's been mastered in the past from people like Dr. Lumsden and Balvenie did it Balvenie and Glenmorangie were two of the first distilleries to do it. Anyway, but it's like this is changed the industry, changed whiskey as we know it. And yeah, I mean, talking of salt, Distillery 52 will give you salty notes without any peat influence. Yeah, there is influence in the terroir of whiskey, of course, as well. So another discussion for another time, of course.
I guess that you could always classify that as coastal, but could that fit oily and coastal? Because oily and coastal is a combination of a term, but can anything that's just got salt influences fall into that oily and coastal situation, or does oily and coastal define, because this word is different to peated, oily and coastal is almost defining locality? Is it not?
I mean, it is a bit, isn't it? But we've had oily and coastal drams that aren't coastal whiskies, though.
Yeah. Okay. Right. So bending the rules. Oily and or coastal and or. There you go.
Well, I mean, we had a couple of 112s, which is not a coastal distillery. We've had other things like that as well. So,
that's probably what all this changing of, well, not changing, but review. It might be oily and or / coastal.
Yeah.
Just look shit on the label. That's all.
We're not here to get too technical. I think this leads us to sort of near the end of Virtual Pub. Matt Waller, thank you so much for two things. First of all, for hosting.
Has all the live music finished? Have I missed the live music?
The live music's already been and gone. Julian James, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, you were working tonight. Full respect, you were working, and you were even presenting the society tonight, which is even better. You know what? I said tonight a couple of things. New members, use the code VirtualPub21 if you want to join up. You can use it on any membership type. It's an additional $40 off just for tonight. Like, that's huge. So you can get like the membership plus bottle at the moment for another $40 off, which basically makes the bottle almost free, which is unbelievable. The second thing I mentioned tonight was, of course, I'm giving this away. This hand fill. I'm giving this hand fill away. A first fill Oloroso SC71 hand fill, which I mentioned earlier. Gregor from the Waltz, who we had on earlier tonight, sent me this bottle. And he said, do you want to drink it on stream with me? Do you want to have a taste of it on stream with me? And I said, I would. But I think a member taking this would be even more special. So if you join the society tonight, I'm going to extend it to the end of the weekend. But if you join the society this weekend, and use the code VirtualPub. Put it in, get your discount. I'm also going to give this away to someone. If you're already a member, refer a friend. I'm going to give this away to maybe a referrer. We're just going to put all the names in a hat and draw it out. And I think that leads us to the end of tonight. Put your photos up because I'm giving away a membership pack. That was the last thing, of course, I had to mention. But I'm still giving away
photos of what? What do you got to take a photo of?
Of your home setup. You enjoying a dram at the pub. That's all it is. And by the way, you can't apply, Waller, because you're on the stream and you always get the best photos.
I was going to do a screen snapshot. Screen snapshot.
There's the pack. Take a photo of your setup at home, of Virtual Pub at home. Hashtag Virtual Pub 21, as in 2021. Virtual Pub 21. Take a photo of your Virtual Pub setup tonight. I'm going to give one of these $299 packs away to someone to take home and enjoy. Share with a friend, of course. Socially distance, maybe, depending where you are. And that's the way it goes. So I really appreciate everyone for coming along for Virtual Pub tonight. Matt Waller, our final guest tonight. Thank you so much for being a part of Virtual Pub with us as well.
Too easy. Laid in, but I'm here.
And a huge shout out to all of our guests tonight: Andrew Durbidge, Julian James, Damien Cost-Beckwith, Gregor Forbes, everyone who tuned in tonight, all of our members who make this whiskey community what it is. This is not just about the whiskey. It's about our community. It's about coming together, sharing a dram at the pub when we're locked down. Will's locked down. I'm locked down. We're all just going through the paces at the moment. And if we can get together at the pub right now, as we've done tonight for the last 2.5, almost 3 hours, it's a chance for us to catch up, listen to some tunes, drink some whiskey, and share in the community that the SMWS loves to bring to our members. So thank you so much, everyone.
Sweetness.
Sweetness indeed. Have a great weekend, everyone. We'll catch you all soon. And in the meantime, Sanjava, drink well, be happy, and we'll see you all soon. And thank you, everyone. All these great comments coming in. I'm going to throw them all up on screen as we play us out, and we'll see you all soon. Rock and roll, rock and roll. Where's my music? Oh, there we are. Pub music. We're going to go out. All right.
Chink, chink. Chink again. Boing.
And there we go.